Greetings, web developers, and welcome back. Today, we're continuing to look at HTML fundamentals by focusing on HTML containers. When creating web pages, it is often crucial to separate content into manageable groups and containers for organizing, formatting, and applying styles. A container is any part of a web page document body that has an opening and closing tags. Containers can be formatted by applying styles to adjust margins, padding, or horizontal and vertical alignment, and other visual presentation attributes. As we get into CSS next week, this will make more sense. Containers come in generic and more semantically specific types. It's always better to use the semantically correct type over generic containers. For example, you would create a header container to store introductory content, and use a footer container to store content like author, copyright, or date. But you should not reverse these and use them for the wrong purpose. For example, you would create a header container to store introductory information. You'd use a footer container to store things like the copyright, or the address, date information. Next, we might want to create a container to store the main content. And this is the semantically correct container for storing that information. We might want to add a nav section using the nav container tag and add address information in the footer using that container tag, as you can see here. In the main section, maybe we might have an article, and the article may contain a heading and other paragraph information that contains, in this instance, ipsum lorem. In a particular page, we might have multiple articles. And often, it's necessary to wrap our articles in a section. As you can see, the content tags are semantically matched to their purpose. Other tags are available for use as well, like the aside container tag, which may not be semantically a part of the main container tag. And then, of course, we have generic container tags like the div and the span. The following table also shows a good description of the most common HTML containers. I recommend pausing the video and reviewing these. Okay, before we close this discussion on containers, let's talk about a few more things concerning parent containers, block containers, and inline containers. A parent container is a container in which another element resides. These could be block elements or inline elements, and these are important to distinguish. A block element, sometimes called a block level element, fills the width of the element's parent container and can contain other block elements, inline elements, and text elements. Block elements include tags like the H1, the table, and the paragraph tag. Some block elements cannot be contained within certain other block elements when the semantics are unclear. For example, the paragraph element cannot contain other paragraph elements. Please remember that. A block element is typically displayed starting and ending on new lines. For example, the OL tag is a block tag that fills the entire width of the parent container, and each ordered list starts on a new line separate from the previous and following blocks. A div element is a generic element for creating block containers to facilitate managing page content, and is the only block element with no semantic meaning, unlike other block elements such as the paragraph and the table. Because block elements will fill the entire width of the parent container, understanding this behavior is very important when laying out other content and items on your pages, especially when including inline elements. An inline element, in contrast to a block element, fills the minimum space possible in the element parent container and can only contain text or other inline elements. For example, the anchor tag element is an inline element that creates a hyperlink container as big as the link's internal content. A hyperlink does not fill the width or height of the link's parent paragraph. A moment ago, I mentioned the div element as a generic content container. Well, the span element, conversely, is an inline element used for creating inline containers to facilitate managing content on the page. Unlike other inline elements such as the anchor and the EM for emphasis, the span element are used primarily for presenting and interaction purposes. Good practice is to use tags such as address and article that convey semantic meaning when creating containers, and use the div and the span only when no other tags are appropriate. Okay, that's it for this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.